Hey everyone, how's it going? Stevie here, back once again. It's a Friday. It's the 10th of November. Can you believe it? We're at the 10th of November already. That rocks my world. I'm quite nervous about that because it means we're very close to the C word. And I don't mean UNT, I mean Christmas. I know I shouldn't be talking about it, but man, it does. We're getting there. The year's gone already. But I digress. You are tuned into the World of Trash podcast here on iTunes, iHeartRadio, YouTube, Libsyn, and of course www.worldoftrash.co.uk. This song is Dub Spirit Jungle Punks. Of course, all the music playing the show is from it's all Creative Commons music. If you're a producer and you want your music heard on the show, or you've just got a view you want heard on the show, make sure and email me, Stevie, at podcasts@worldoftrash.co.uk. There we go. B-film, Killpin. As I just said, my name is Steve. I'm a media student, video maker, and obviously podcaster. If you want to chat crap with me, feel free to add me on Twitter at MarginStevie, and of course, like I said, you can contact me via email at World of Trash. Sorry, I digress. You can contact me via email at podcasts@worldoftrash.co.uk. And if you would like to support the show, because I do this, it's free, there's no charge for it, it's just a little bit of entertainment, head on over to worldoftrash.co.uk. You will find a link to my shop. It is only a little Redbubble shop. You can go where you can buy t-shirts, stickers, all sorts of fun stuff. And you can support me, help support the channel by purchasing something from the shop. And very soon, I shall have Trash Talk Wrestling t-shirts coming onto the page. And a few other sorts of t-shirts and merch and possibly mugs as well. Because I've got a bitchin' mug idea. I mean, that might sound stupid, but I really do have a good idea for a good microphone. A good mug. There's nothing quite like a good mug. So what are we talking about this week? Because that is what we do here. This is the Trashcast, as we used to call it. It's the 10th. This week has been insane, right? I have got a list, and it's called the Brain Dump. I got it from my girlfriend. It's an awesome idea. It's just like a notepad, but it's got a dumping ground. It's got worthwhile, worth pondering, not worthy. And this week, it has just gone absolutely tits because of the current political situation. What has been happening in the news and the media and all that sort of stuff has been near overwhelming to deal with. So, let me run down what I have pruned out of my list. Or let me go down through the whole list what I was going to discuss, first of all, before just one thing after another started happening. So, we're going to start the show off with this. We've got the Queen. She's implicated in the Paradise Papers. She was part owner of BRIGHTHOUSE. I mean, of all companies, the Queen could have been a part owner of. It's freaking BRIGHTHOUSE. You know, I mean, if you don't know who BRIGHTHOUSE are, let me give you a little education lesson. If you're poor and you have a lot of trouble getting credit and you don't want to be a total pariah from society because you don't own the TV like everyone else, or you don't have an Xbox like everyone else, or you just don't want to look poor to the eyes of other people, because that's what it's like. You know what I mean? You've got to keep up appearances. People go to BRIGHTHOUSE. That's where BRIGHTHOUSE come in. They're a bunch of scummy people, and they basically give poor people credit at massive interest rates. So they basically profit off the fact people can't get credit by giving them credit. They don't care if they're getting in more debt, it just means more money for them. And yeah, they're not really the nicest of companies. I mean, companies that deal with just credit, I mean, some of them can be okay, but often it's like, yeah, you're just doing it for the interest. These people are doing it for the interest and to make money off of the poor. Something I don't like. It's not a shop I would ever support or go to, because it is just a scam. I mean, well, it's not a scam because you do get stuff, but man, the interest payments, I can't rattle them off the top of my head, but they're insane. And the Queen, of all people, is an investor in this company. So let's go into the story. So obviously this leaked from the Paradise Papers. I'll describe the Paradise Papers in a bit. That was number 2 in the list, actually. Sorry, I was going down the list and went on a total tangent there about the Queen. So we'll get back to the Queen. We're going to talk briefly about the Paradise Papers. What are they? What are the scams that are involved? What? They're not scams, because they're legal, aren't they? They're legal. And if it's legal, it's not a scam. It's legal. It's a loophole. So I'll have a quick chat about that. And I've got an example of a loophole, which I took from TV, and I had to write this down in a huge diagram so I could understand it. It is mental. I was going to give a little segment that was going to be 10 reasons why Theresa May should step down, because I'm not her biggest fan. But that's been scrapped. There's more important stuff than talking about her. We're going to talk about Boris Johnson and his epic fudge up that has probably landed Nazan and Zahiri Ratcliffe more time in jail over in Iran. The absolute clown that he is. This is another story that I have thrown this one off the show because I don't think it's worth it. I can explain this quickly. I was going to talk about she is still an MP. I can't remember what her title was. She worked for the Foreign Office. Priti Patel. The whole scandal with her. Basically, she's just got the sack this week because she was going on holiday to Iran, speaking to people like the Iranian Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu, all behind closed doors, not documented, anything. It's like... So basically, and one of the deals I believe she was trying to make was she was trying to do a deal with the Israeli army where our country, the UK, we're going to start giving money from our aid budget to the Israeli army. Now that blew me away. Earlier on in the week, obviously information had came out about meetings that she hadn't told anyone about, but then another meeting came out. Priti Patel had just arrived in Africa. I believe she only spent like 5 hours in Africa and she was commanded to come home, where she resigned. Another display of our Prime Minister Theresa May's absolute ineptitude in displaying the fact that the MPs at the moment can get away with whatever they want, because she should have been sacked for what she done. What she did is absolute misconduct, and it's not just misconduct, but it's misconduct of your ministerial level. Like, you're a minister, you can't do that sort of thing. You can't go speaking to prime ministers behind closed doors without telling people. So she's not been sacked, she resigned over it, which in itself is just crazy. And there is also the speculation that came from the Jewish Chronicle and journalist called Stephen Pollard. I remember that off the top of my head there. That's impressive. So yeah, Stephen Pollard reported a story that Number 10 knew about some of these meetings all along and told Priti Patel to hush-hush over it. Which implicates Theresa May, implicates Number 10, implicates pretty much the whole Tory party. I mean, they're all a bunch of corrupt idiots anyway. They're sending us down the garden path. I mean, just today it turned out that Article 50 could be stopped if politicians wanted to. The letter that Theresa May wrote declaring, enacting, whatever you call it, Article 50, it turns out that's just a letter and she can't say we don't want to do it. But she's sticking by her guns. She's like, no, Brexit, we're going to make a success of it. And she uses more euphemisms like a deep and special partnership, which, just to my mind, conjures up nothing but sexual connotations, and I'm pretty sure that's what she's trying to do. She is a strange, strange woman. But that was one of the topics that got dropped from the show. But actually, ironically, I've just talked about it. And lastly on the show, we are going to have a MARROW escape. That's all I'm saying about it just now. You've got to wait till the end of the show for that. That's the funny story of the show. That's the story where it's not just me ranting away about politics or it's just some idiot in the news. That's an actual good, funny story. But yeah, you have to wait for that one. So what I'm going to do now, I think I'm just going to play another one of these little tracks and have a little drink of juice. Because my throat at the moment is just weird. I keep going through croaky periods and that is not good. Croaky periods are not good. So let's cue another track up. It's going to be Impact Prelude by Kevin MacLeod. And remember, if you want to support the show, and please do, because supporting the show will help it grow, it'll help us spread to more platforms and more people all over the UK and America and Europe and the whole world, then please go to my website, www.worldoftrash.co.uk, click that shop link, or just check out my YouTube channel. YouTube views are good as well, but if you want to go to my shop, there's all sorts of t-shirts and stickers there, new stuff getting added quite a lot. That would be awesome. But for now, enjoy this little song, I guess. So, the Queen. What has Queenie been up to? Lizzie, have you been bad? Well, probably not her directly. It's more her people have been bad. Because it's never the one in charge. They always get their people to do it. The people are always to blame. Plausible deniability. That is the name of the game. But this takes us on to the first topic of the week. The Queen, as I stated before, has been a bad girl when it comes to her investments. Bad, as in they've not really been the most morally just investments that she could have made. So I am taking my report for this week's this segment from the Independent story. If you want to find it yourself, just Google Paradise Papers Queen Faces Backlash. That should take you straight to this page. Who's the journalist on this? Who's it that wrote this? I forgot to take a note of who wrote the story. Now that is some half-assed re-reporting there. I don't think you will ever get anyone any more half-assed. I can't even speak properly, it's that half-assed. Man. This is gonna get top of the charts, this shit. Anyway. The Queen's financial advisors have been criticised for bringing the monarchy into disrepute, it says here. After it was revealed she has 10 million invested in an offshore tax haven. Crazy. Crazy. Of all the people in the UK that you would expect to go by the system, work for the system, and work with the people, you would think it would be the Queen of our freaking country. You know, she's like our Queen. She's the, like... It's meant to be her country, yet she takes the piss out of it. And she takes money away from people in the country so she can have more money. Of course, this is not directly done by Elizabeth. So she is actually, well, no, quite frankly, the way I see it, her hands are dirty. Because this is just stupid. And her people should know better. And her people are commanded by her. So she should know better. Especially, how old is she now? She's like 90 or something like that. I mean, come on. She must have known that this was not cool. But I digress. It goes on with the report. The latest leak of the offshore arrangements of many of the world's richest people, dubbed the Paradise Papers, has revealed the Duchy of Lancaster, which provides the Queen with a private income, holds funds in the Cayman Islands and Bermuda. This money is divested in accounts which are sheltered from UK tax, which makes them investment decisions. The way it works is the money that the Queen puts to the Cayman Islands and Bermuda, it is divested into accounts which are sheltered from tax havens, as they say. This account over in the Cayman Islands, or these accounts even in the Cayman Islands or Bermuda, they then make investment decisions on their behalf and just invest their money. So the Paradise Papers revealed, as I said before, that she has a small investment. Actually, it's not that big an investment, but the fact of the matter is she has an investment. in Bright House, which is just like, that is not cool. I mean, they've been criticised as not being a responsible lender and not being very cool with how they act because they target the poor. And the Queen was in on it. She was profiting from that. I mean, she might have only made 20 quid. Who knows? Who cares? The fact is, she had funds in this account. So the Duchy said that its holdings in Bright House now equate to just over £3,000 and did not control how the fund made decisions about what to invest in. So basically, that was one hand wiping the other hand wiping the other. So the Queen has someone to do her stuff, that person has someone to do her stuff. So all along the line, they can deny, and say, oh, I didn't know, it's legal. Bullshit. Utter bullshit. They all knew what was happening. It's their money. I don't care if it's, I mean, I'm sceptical about it just being a £3,000 investment. I mean, if you've got, how much did it say there before? 10 million invested in offshore tax haven, and only 3,000 of it is in Bright House. I don't think so. Would that not be one of the more profitable things to invest in? I would say so, because it's one of these scabby companies that make a lot of money because of how they operate. I don't know. There's maybe more accounts. There's maybe more news to come out on the Paradise Papers. Who knows? But I mean, there is no suggestion that anyone did anything legal here. We didn't break the law, they all say. We were just following the rules. Or we just hired people who in turn knew ways around it and knew how to get around the system. I'm waving my hand about like a raver here, because that's how they work and weave their way around this tax system. Which brings us, let's get to the Paradise Papers. So what are the Paradise Papers? To save any confusion, I'm just going to read this straight off the Wikipedia page for the Paradise Papers, because if I try and explain it, I'll go on tangents and I will get lost. Just be aware that there are some foreign words in here. We've got a German word, we've got a word that's just silly for my head anyway. I'm dyslexic, so some words just read silly, I can't help it, but I try and work through it because that's the best way to do it. But yeah, if I get any of the foreign names wrong, my apologies in advance. I will learn them for the future. So let's do this. The Paradise Papers is a set of 13.4 million confidential electronic documents relating to offshore investments that were leaked to the German newspaper Süddeutsche Zeitung. The German newspaper shared them with the International Consortium of Investigative Journalists, and some of the details were made public on the 5th of November 2017. A fact that I really, really like, because it's the 5th of November. Symbolic is good. I like it. I continue. The documents originate from the offshore law firm Appleby, the corporate service providers Estra and Asia City Trust, the business registries in 19 tax jurisdictions. These people are all over the world. They know all the places to go and put your money. The last sentence. They contain the names of more than 120,000 people and companies. Among those financial affairs are mentioned are Queen Elizabeth II, the President of Colombia, Juan Manuel Santos, and the US Secretary of Commerce, Wilbur Ross. That last sentence was written actually that way. I didn't read it. I thought I read it bad, and I was like, wait, what? Whose financial affairs and mentioned and Queen Elizabeth? Okay, I take back what I said about Wikipedia being a good source, because that was insane. So basically, what these are is, you may have heard of the Panama Papers that came out earlier on. Now these are much the same as the Panama Papers. They're documents that were never supposed to be seen by the public. These were supposed to only be seen by the rich, the super rich. This is all about the super rich. This is how the super rich stay super rich and how the poor get poorer. And it is that simple. I mean, let's have a look at some of the companies that are named. Of course, you wouldn't be surprised that Facebook, Apple, Disney, Uber, Nike, Walmart, and Siemens and McDonald's and stuff, people like that are there. But I mean, you've got an Algerian. You've got, according to the Express Tribune, Mike? Sorry. Apple, Nike, Facebook avoided billions of dollars in tax using offshore companies. Crazy. There's also, I mean, it goes on. I command you to go and read this if you've got an interest in it, because I will just butcher it. I can just give you my opinion on it. My opinion is I am so happy to see things like this come out. And just things that prove what people know, that the rich are taking the freaking piss out of society. Like, big time. I mean, how are they taking the piss out of society? This is a bit that a lot of people may get confused by, right? Not only are they going to foreign countries and putting their money there rather than putting it here so they don't pay tax on it, they're doing other scams that are, I mean, there's one example I take here, and it's from a hotel company. Now, I don't think they mentioned the company's name when I seen the example on TV. They may have done, I just didn't get it. I can't see it in my notes, so I digress. Not only do they keep funds away so they don't pay tax on them, but they create these schemes so the companies make less. Well, they look like they're making less profit. Well, they are making less profit, hence they pay less tax. So, let me go into this first example, because it is quite confusing, and it confuses me even talking about it a little bit. But I have a diagram. I may post a picture of this so you can see it. You've got a German hotel company. They want to make more money. They want to make more tax-free money, that is. So, they work with this British hotel company. The British hotel company buys over the German hotel company. The British hotel company is owned by a company in the Isle of Man. They pay no tax on their income because of this, because all the money goes to the Isle of Man. The German hotel company then takes a loan out from this Isle of Man company, as does the British company. Now, what this does is, this takes the profits of both companies down. So because the profits of both companies are down, they pay less tax into their company, into their countries. Hence why we don't pay any tax. But what's happening with these ones? How are they getting to work that? Well, the hotel company and the British company have both got these loans taken out. Now, they pay interest on the loans to the Isle of Man company. They pay the loans to the Isle of Man company. So the fact that this loan is a fake loan, these loans are not loans because they're the same companies like loaning themselves money. They're like, this is where the scam is. And because they've got these loans, if you have to pay a loan back, that's like means you don't pay tax on that because that is not profit. And this is how they're avoiding the tax. This is like one of the scammy ones. This is one of the few ones I found that's like a scam. This and what Lewis Hamilton was doing. Like his one was just a flat out scam. I'll say that here. I don't care. He was hiring he was buying a jet. Then it was like being loaned to one company, then loaned to another company, then loaned to another company. Then he was registering it for tax and saying it was for business. But the thing is, he was using it for personal use as well. Now he should pay tax on it, but for some reason, some tax man signed off on that in Jersey. That is mental, and this is why society is going downhill fast, because there's shit like this going down, where the rich are not only allowed to keep their money away so they don't pay tax on it, so they get richer, they're doing these things to deliberately not pay tax, whilst they stay in this country, mind you. So, I mean, these companies are happy to use our water systems, they're happy to use the roads, they're happy to moan about the conditions and climate and pollution, they're happy to complain to their councils, they're happy to demand things from government and all these sorts of things that everyone else takes for granted in modern life, but they don't pay their way. The people that are paying for the big companies are all the little companies that are getting screwed over. All the self-employed people, all the normal people, all the working class people, all the middle class people. Everyone's getting fucked over. That's my one F-bomb of the show. We're all getting F'd over. And it's that simple. And government is doing nothing about it. I mean, when you look at what government are trying to say at the moment, they're really not doing anything to try and fix this. Last night I was watching Question Time. Tory politician just started saying, oh, we tried to do it last time, but yous all blocked it. Yous being the Labour Party, of course. But, I mean, that's bullshit in itself, because the Labour Party was put up against the wall. There was a snap election, And what, they were supposed to just start voting things, and they couldn't do stuff. It was ridiculous. The way our country has been run, the UK, for the last year and a bit, it beggars belief. It really does. But see, I'm starting to just rant now, so I think it's time for a little break. I'm going to have some water. That was the Queen being implicated in the Paradise Papers. She's part owner of Bright House, and she used to own part of Wine Rack, Haddo's, and all that sort of booze shops. So, yeah, the Queen's been implicated in some pretty shady things when it comes to her investment decisions. I feel she should know better. She is the Queen. And that was a brief overview of the Paradise Papers, even though I butchered it. Okay, so moving on with the show. I think it's time to have a little break. It's time for me to get a drink after that long rant about the Queen and the Paradise Papers. So I'm going to shut up for a few minutes. I'm going to play this little song. It is Ninja by Leisure Me. I will be back in a few minutes with more chat. I'm going to talk about Boris Johnson, the twat he is. I'm going to talk about my documentary. And we will have a MARROW escape at the end of the show. Back soon. Okay, so that was ample. That was ample. That was ample. Let's turn that down in the background. Hey, we got some Japanese talking in this song. Nani! Nandato! That's all the Japanese I know, by the way. That's literally all the Japanese I know. Nani! Nani and Nandato. Nani just means what? If you're watching any anime and they say Nani! Nani! It's like, I'm butchering it. I'm crap at Japanese. I did go through a period of trying to learn it in August, but I've kind of slipped on that. Nandato? It's like, what the hell? But anyway, I am talking utter crap now. We've got a song playing in the background. Very slightly. It's not even showing on my monitor here, so we'll not worry about that, because we're on to the next segment? Really? We're on to the next segment of the show with me, Stevie, here at the World of Trash podcast. I swear I am Sean Connery. Alright. I don't know what happened there. Sean Connery just busted into my freaking studio, stole my microphone and started reaming me in the ear with it. It's graphic, I know, but hey. Of course, before I continue, if you want to chat crap with me, chat shit, throw shit, accuse me of stuff, well, not accuse me of stuff, because I'm a good dude, don't do that. Please don't come and accuse me of things. That's just the current media bubble, everyone's getting accused of stuff, so, no, but if you want to come, chat shit with me, you want to throw I don't know, what would the word be? If you want to throw shade at me, come at me, bro. But yeah, if you want to just chat crap, I'm on Twitter. You can find me at Margin Stevie. You can tell it's me because in my profile picture, I have the worst pseudo Peaky Blinders haircut you will ever see. I just took the picture for a laugh. I'm considering about doing reviews of Peaky Blinders for YouTube, but I've not made my mind up yet, so who knows. But yeah, imagine Stevie, Twitter, follow me. I'm also on Instagram. I am currently loving the Instagram. I know I'm like 2 years behind the world, but I don't care. I'm having fun with Instagram. I am using it every day. I find it good. Twitter's really good. I am like a total Twitter junkie. The fact that they've just upped the character count is brilliant. It is absolutely brilliant. I mean, it was even funnier that that happened on the day that all this Pretty Patel stuff was happening, because it was just a non-stop outpouring. She couldn't have messed up on a worse day. Or she couldn't have been outed for messing up on a worse day. And going along with that whole international issues, it is time to move on to the next topic, because I'm just rambling again. But rambling is what I do here in the World of Trash podcast. That is my job. That is my role. I am the rabbler of the Trashcast era. Next story. Boris Johnson and his epic fudge up, which has potentially led to Nazanin Zaghiri Ratcliffe spending more time in an Iranian jail because he has simply said the wrong word. Now, a bit of backstory on the Zaghiri Ratcliffe story. She is a journalist who was on holiday. She's got there's a whole load of backstory to this, and she's got a husband, she's got a child, and she was over in Iran on holiday, and she got arrested because the Iranian government thought she was a spy. But when they say a spy, they thought she was over there teaching people how to be a journalist, which is against the law in Iran. So it kind of goes along with spying, because the fact that she's like from the UK and stuff like that didn't help. So the Iranian government imprisoned her, and she's not been able to see her child. She's not been able to see her husband. It's a pretty crap situation because she's locked up in an Iranian jail, hoping that our foreign minister, Boris Johnson, could actually get her free. Sadly for Zaghiri Ratcliffe, our foreign minister is a complete fucking idiot. And I don't say that lightly. I mean, you've got idiots in the world, and you've got absolute fucking morons like Boris Johnson, who doesn't even know how to speak properly. Now, I can't tell whether he maybe knew something that he wasn't supposed to say, or he didn't know something and he just blabbed shit. I'm swearing a lot on this bit because someone is literally potentially getting put in jail for another 5 years because of this. So let me go into this in a bit more depth. I am going to use the Canaries report on this. So their reported title on this is Boris Johnson just fucked young mum's life. Cabinet minister's response. And the reason they've got that headline is because a cabinet minister said that Boris just fucked the young mum's life. Crazy. This is the world we are living in with British politics. People are just they've just stopped caring. It's getting to a point where there's so much crap happening, they just can't defend it, and they're like, dude's an idiot. Anyway, let's go into detail like I said I was going to do. So let's read the Canaries report on this. So I'll paraphrase to a degree, but yeah, the facts are from the Canaries. So Nazanin Zaghiri Ratcliffe. As the Canary previously reported, Iranian authorities arrested Nazanin Zaghiri Ratcliffe in April 2016 when she went to Iran with her daughter on a family holiday. Her family and employer maintain her innocence and claim she is being used as a political pawn. Which she pretty much is. And yeah, well done, Boris. You've just made her even more of a pawn. So I'll continue. She has been in prison ever since, although her family was hopeful that she would be released soon. But thanks to Boris Johnson, I don't know why I say Johnston, he's a Johnson. He is actually a Johnson. She could be facing a further 5 years in an Iranian prison. This week, speaking to a Foreign Affairs Committee in Parliament, which was recorded and put on TV, I'm sure it was broadcast live on BBC Parliament, Johnson was condemning Iran for Zaghiri Ratcliffe's detention. But he made this epic mistake. Like, this is so bad. This is what he said. This is the exact words. I'm going to try and do it in a Boris... when I look at what Zaghiri Ratcliffe was doing, she was simply teaching people journalism as I understand it. Boom. Not only did he not remember the story he was meant to say, but he's just absolutely implicated her in completely breaking the law in Iran, doing exactly what the Iranian government said she'd done, and justified her being imprisoned. So the Iranian judiciary jumped on Johnson's error. An article from the Iranian judicial human rights body said that Johnson's statement showed that Nazanin had visited the country for anything but a holiday. For months, it was claimed by government, by Boris Johnson, that Nazanin is a British Iranian charity worker who went to see her family when she was arrested. Mr. Johnson's statement has shed new light on the realities about Nazanin. And there it is. It's that simple. It's hard to believe that someone with the amount of power he's got and the position he's got would make such a mistake that can affect someone's life so drastically. So Boris Johnson appeared later. There was an emergency question posted in Parliament because people obviously wanted to know what the heck he was on about. We had people on both sides of the House, including Conservative MP Anne Soubry, who's really opinionated these days. She seems quite good from the Tory side. She seems like a Tory backbencher who's just totally pissed off at how epically bad her party is being run. So she was saying he should be sacked. Everyone else says he should be sacked. Boris stood up in the House of Commons, made a speech. He did not apologise. Right. If you hear anyone in the media try to say that Boris Johnson has apologised for this, he has not apologised. And they are spinning it as, oh, he's indicated he knows what he did wrong. It's like, yeah, you soulless pieces of shit. There's a big difference between knowing you've done wrong and acknowledging it, and actually saying you're sorry and doing something about it. At the moment, Boris he's acknowledged it. He's an idiot, and he's just showed the world that he's a top-class idiot. Then the next day, or was it the next day or the day after, he was then on American TV talking about how awesome Donald Trump was. Which just mind-blowing and just made him look even worse in the eyes of the British public. So what is the fallout from this? Is Boris going to be sacked? Is he even going to resign? Nope, nothing. Nothing and nothing. He's just said it was a slip of the tongue. It wasn't a slip of the tongue. It was the worst. So on the Canaries report for this, we've got a statement. It was the spokesperson for the Foreign and Commonwealth Office told the Canary, last week's remarks by the Foreign Secretary provide no justifiable basis on which to bring any additional charges against Nazanin Zaghiri Ratcliffe. While criticising the Iranian case against Mrs. Zaghiri Ratcliffe, the Foreign Secretary sought to explain that even the most extreme set of unproven Iranian allegations against her were insufficient reason for her detention and treatment. The UK will continue to do all it can to secure her release on humanitarian grounds, and the Foreign Secretary will be calling the Iranian Foreign Minister to raise again his serious concerns about the case and ensure his remarks are not interpreted. He's a bell end, and his whole office are bell ends, and they're trying to defend what he's done here. I mean, this is totally ignoring that the Iranian state media have been using his words and saying very explicitly that this is hard evidence that Nazanin was not over doing charity work or just on holiday or whatever it was, that she was over there teaching people to be journalists, which is a crime over there, and she's pretty much seen as a spy now, and it doesn't matter what defence they say now, because Boris Johnson has just gave them the evidence. It's like he's just gave them the rope to hang her with, like metaphorically, obviously. Thankfully they're not going to kill her. Hopefully. I don't know what it's like in Iran. I really hope they're not like that. But he's essentially gave them the rope, gave them a stand and said, here we go, let's hang her. He's just... things like this make me lose my faith in humanity. And they make me forget what I was wanting to say as well. But mainly they make me lose my faith in humanity. Because I cannot believe there are people out there that are in charge of our countries, i.e. the UK, who get to go around making mistakes like this. I mean, it's bad enough we've got Theresa May, who can't do anything, she's got no power. We had Priti Patel the day after. Again, she should have been sacked the first time, let alone the second time, but she was allowed to resign. Boris Johnson's not even been forced to resign or been sacked for this. We had other people walking out of the government. That was 2 ministers in a week dropped out of government because they had to, because they disgraced the party. It's stuff like this gets me on political rants, because I'm just like, why is our country going so tits? It's like, and every single person I speak to, we're always like, who actually voted for for the Tories? Like, who voted these people in? Surely there's not that much old people and that much rich people that can totally outvote the rest of society and get that Tories in. It's just baffling. I mean, all we can really do in this sense, if you're a person, I mean, you really should be interested in politics, because it's, I mean, people like conspiracies and stuff like that, and people all get sucked in by conspiracies and all sorts of fun stories, like, oh yeah, that's a real conspiracy, like, oh, they're putting stuff in the water or something like that. And I mean, you've got a whole load of stories that are, like, there's a bit of element of truth to it, but they're a total distraction from the real conspiracy, which is the idiots that run our political systems. They're just not right. They just are not fit for purpose. Boris Johnson this week proved it by just opening his mouth and just spewing out verbal diarrhea, which has potentially led to Nazanin Zaghari Ratcliffe spending more time in an Iranian jail. Boris, I hope one day you get put in jail, and then the person defending you accidentally just says, oh yeah, he actually did do it, I seen him, because you actually deserve it. Karma would be a bitch like that. But this topic has got me, it's got me heated, it's got me hot under the collar, so it's time to have a little drink. I'm going to play a song by, who's this going? A song by B Film. Simon Q by B Film. Let's hope it's a nice funky tune. I've got no idea what it's like. I like playing songs blind. It's fun. Sounds like it's going to be funky. Back in a minute. So that is a funky little song. I kind of like the vibe of the music I've been getting this week and last week, and I'm going to look for a lot more music of that style. You know what I mean? Give the show a sound musically, and not just my harsh Scottish voice. But yeah, I like this sort of ambient, trippy, rappy, hip-hoppy sound kind of stuff. It's kind of cool, and as I said, all the music played on the show is licensed like in the Creative Commons way, so it's all free. You can go on the internet, you can find it. If you make videos and stuff, you can use it. Just remember and tell everyone it's Creative Commons. Use the names. And I'm telling you, if you make videos or anything like that for YouTube or anywhere on the internet, songs like this can absolutely save your bacon. Because if you use the wrong song in a video, you won't just get your video muted. They'll just delete it. I know someone who's uploading reviews. So this is like, YouTube at the moment is just insane about censorship and taking stuff down that's not, like, that you don't have the rights to put up. And I know someone he makes wrestling review videos. And I mean, he doesn't get massive views. He doesn't do gangbuster sorts of numbers, as the statement goes, or the phrase goes, whatever the fuck I'm talking about. I've swore way too much now. But yeah, he just posts videos that are reviews of wrestling shows, and because he uses this music from that wrestling show in the review, bang. I don't think you heard my pen, but bang. He gets him, just took him down. Like 2 views and they're down. So unfair, and it's like, way to farm creativity, YouTube. Just kill people. It's like, it demoralizes people. People end up thinking, it's like, why should I even bother doing this if the places where I want to post it don't let me post it for no reason? It's bizarre. And they treat people bad now, whereas like 2 years ago, there was people playing borderline bloody porn games, and like half of their subscribers were kids, but they've never been punished for it. They've still got channels, they've still got their millions of subscribers, but they were never really punished for it. They changed the monetization systems, and they changed all these systems, but all these people that have already got millions of subscribers through being really irresponsible, they get away with it. But I digress. It's a rant. It's a personal rant of mine. I've been on YouTube for a long time now. Admittedly, I could have probably tried harder. I could have probably made better content. But I make what I like. I make what I want. I've never been doing it just to be a mad star. I've just been doing it because I like making videos and stuff like that. And hey, at least one person watches every video I make. So that keeps me happy. Just knowing that one person has been entertained by anything. Like this podcast, for instance. I know that at least a handful of people will come and listen to this podcast. And by listening to this, it'll kill an hour. It'll give some positive feedback. It'll give you some positive feelings. It might make you think about something. It might trigger you. You might be like, yeah, that's a fucking point. Or you might think, yeah, he's fucking wrong. And that's totally cool. That's what it's about. And as long as it touches that person, I am happy. And I forgot what I was ranting about now. Oh, yeah. People taking the piss out of YouTube. YouTube, blah, blah. Got to start my own YouTube. I wish. Next topic on today's show. Now I've finished all my political stupidity. No more politics in this week's show. No more politics. It's time for the weekly update of my documentary. How to make a documentary. The documentary. So how is the documentary filming coming this week? So this week at university has been our consolidation week. So I've not been in class. But I have had one big ass funky camera. I've got a huge tripod. I've got a set of those type-in mics you see people wearing on TV. And I've been recording. I've been out and about. I've been trying to record sunrises. Oh man. Now this was maybe the most annoying thing that happened to me this week. Mainly because it was like 3 hours from 6 in the morning. And it just... So I want to get a sunrise in my video. I want a sunrise because it's a nice metaphor for the start of a story. You know, like a nice sunrise over the back of some houses, over the back of, from where I see from my house. So I thought, yeah, cool, this seems like a good idea. I kind of know what way the sun's going to come. I've seen it the last few days because I get up quite early. So I got up extra early to record this sunrise. So I set the camera up, had the window open, right open, so... Obviously, there's no dirty glass in the way to make the shot ruined. Everything, the light was perfect, set up perfect. I didn't need to record sound on it, so I don't worry about that. But everything else was spot on, looked so nice. So right, just need to leave it now. I just need to wait with the window open, just wrap up warm so I don't get frozen to death. And I need to just leave that to record. So I left it to record, checking it every so often. Noticed the sun beaming in. I was like, great. I couldn't see the sun yet. So I was like, oh, it must not be over the top of the house yet, but it's going to come soon, and I'm going to get this. It's going to be on video, and I'm going to be able to speed this up, and it all looks so freaking sweet. Gets to 9 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, where's the sun? Why is it not over there? So I look a little to the right, and it's there. It turns out that I was about 30 degrees, pointing the wrong direction, so I missed the whole freaking sunrise. Great. Absolute great. So it was a total waste of 3 hours. If it was my camera, no, I wouldn't have, because it's one of these cameras. If you knock it over, it's going to cost like $1,000 to replace. So no, not replace. I mean repair. It cost a lot of grands to replace. But that was the trials and tribulations of an amateur documentaire or filmmaker. What would you call that? A documentaire or a filmmaker? But yeah, that was that. That was annoying. But I've had some really good stuff. So Jack, my friend from university, he's on the same course as me. He's been in the same course as me since last year as well. He transferred across to media with me. We go out in a team filming. So yesterday we got some good filming done. We filmed the sunset over at RGU campus. That's Robert Gordon University. For those not in Aberdeen, the hallowed halls in which I do my study. So we recorded that. Went down to a river. Recorded some nice dusk river footage. It's a really nice camera, so you can, even with the low light, you can get some really nice shots. And I turned my bedroom into what looked like a professional interview studio, and I interviewed him because I need interviews for this documentary. Now, my documentary, it only has to be like 15 minutes long. That's the maximum. 5 minimum, 15 maximum. I have already got about 3 hours worth of footage for this thing. And So, like, worst case scenario, I can just bodge together loads of crap and narrate a story over the top. But that is not how I work, because I've decided I wanted to make it harder for myself. So, I mean, I was doing stuff and I was filming stuff for it, and I've got loads of, like, scene shots and stuff like that. I've got a few shots of me doing stuff. I've got I don't know if I mentioned it before, I'm doing the documentary, like, the documentary in the documentary is about a hidden tunnel in Aberdeen. So I've used my other little handy cam and filmed some bits, and I filmed the routes so I can do loads of speeded up stuff. So I've got quite a lot of footage already, but I need a little bit more. Next week, I'm going to try and get in touch with SSE. I'm going to see if I can actually get a look. Maybe just open the door and look into the tunnel. That'd be cool. And hopefully I can get more interviews done, because there was a book I was reading that I was told to look for by the people in the Aberdeen archives. Oh, that was another thing. So the book, Mechanical Aberdeen, it's by a guy called John Reed. He's a former professor. Awesome book. If you want to know about Aberdeen City and the mechanics and the engineering that went into building the city, read it. So the reason for mentioning him is I'm hopefully got an interview lined up with him, so I'm trying to organise that. Although I think I may have scared him away because I went into detail about what the project is. Bad mistake. I should have probably just kept it zipped. But leading to all this, as I said, I've got a lot of footage already. And the story I want to do, I just do not think I can do it justice. Don't think I'll be able to cover the story the way I want to do it in a small documentary within a bigger documentary. So I'm currently contemplating whether to just slightly change the idea a little bit. And at first I was like, you can't do that. You can't do that sort of thing. But then I was watching TV and I was watching some YouTube, and I watched a great video about Family Guy. And it showed you where Family Guy started and where it ended up. And the concept it started as like an adult short with a guy and his dog, Larry and Steve. And then that changed into a kids show with Larry and Steve. Then it changed back to an adult show, then Family Guy. But the point I'm making is, ideas can change. You can take the basis of an idea and change it to a few things and a few other things, and you can warp it. So I think I'm still going to be about the tunnel, but I think I'm going to just lightly cover the tunnel so I can do it justice later, basically. The amount of research I have done on this topic is ridiculous. So no matter what happens, there is a film being made on this tunnel. It might not be out this year, but not a full one. There might be a little teaser this year as part of this project, but I think next year I'll probably save the idea for then, because I've got a dissertation to do at some point, either this year or next year. So I might keep it for that idea and just get as much research and filming for it as I can get done now. And, you know, just keep it in the bag, keep it in my back pocket forever. If I ever need another film, or hey, if I ever just want to make something personally or try and sell the idea to someone, I can. And it'll make good use of the research. But yeah, I think the idea is going to change for just now. I think I'm just going to scale it back a tiny, tiny bit and not go into great detail, because, I mean, I could, with the details I've got already, and the potential, like the details I'm going to get, because I've seen the city archives, I've seen the plans for this thing, I know what's underneath the tunnels. I know of other tunnels now. Like, for instance, in Aberdeen, under the River Dee, there is a tunnel 30 foot below the highest spring tide. There is a tunnel that runs all the way from Aberdeen, under the city centre, right under the River Dee, and it goes right out to the Girdleness Lighthouse and into the sea. It's an old sewage pipe. But this is what I'm meaning. I am learning so much about this thing that it's insane, and I can't do it. I'm not going to be able to fit this into like 7 minutes worth of documentary with commentary on the top, so I'm considering a change. But change is good. Talking about change, it's time to change the topic, because we've not got long on this show. I mean, I say I don't have long. I could go for hours, but then I don't have the space on my server to go for hours. So I'm going to wrap this show up very quickly with a nice fun story. As I said, it's a MARROW escape here. Man finds unexploded World War II bomb in garden, but it's actually a giant courgette. I'm not lying, people. Now, the photograph is here. I found this on Twitter. The link took me to the Evening Standard's website, standard.co.uk. Again, just go to Google, type in "man thinks giant courgette in garden is a World War II bomb." I'm not even joking. It's a great story. Awesome story. So let me just read this off the Evening Standards page. A man notified officers on Thursday when he discovered a 5 kilogram, that's 11 pounds, courgette in his garden. But he didn't think it was a courgette. He thought he had found an unexploded World War II bomb. And rightly panicked. And obviously, the officials were relieved to find out that a vending vegetable in Britain near Karlsruhe. I hate it. Karlsruhe. I can't say that. Britain. Does it say it's in Britain? But yeah, it was not a dormant bombshell as reported. It was a massive marrow, aka courgette. I don't know what you want to call it. Do you prefer? I always thought a marrow and a courgette were two totally different things. I thought a marrow was more like an eggplant. But that's just me. Call it what you want. The marrow was likely thrown over a hedge into the 81-year-old's lawn, according to police. Which is even sillier, because it's like, who the hell runs about throwing gigantic marrows over hedges? Only in Germany, only in Britain would this sort of thing happen. I don't know if you're listening and you're from Britain. Can you tell me, do people usually go throwing courgettes over hedges in Britain? Crazy. Fortunately, the bomb disposal service did not have to be called to the house in southwest Germany. So wait a minute. So he reported this as a World War II bomb. Someone clearly came and at least touched it with a pencil to find out it was not a courgette. And it also makes me think, he was 81, so maybe he just couldn't see it clearly. And he just thought, fucking hell, that's a huge bomb! Get the police! Thankfully, it wasn't. And they didn't have to call the bomb squad, so someone obviously confirmed by touching it or something like that, which is quite comical. It's like, yeah, das ist tomorrow, yeah? I could imagine the police's faces being an absolute picture. The vegetable measures 40 centimetres, that is 16 inches, and was said to look really like a bomb. It was later disposed of by the pensioner himself. So I wonder if he ate it, or he just threw it out, and he was maybe like, I'm not eating you. You are one spooky marrow. I am not having anything to do with you, because I might blow up from marrowitis or something. Yes, I just invented marrowitis. Unexploded wartime bombs continue to be found across Germany. In September, 65,000 people were evacuated in Frankfurt for the disposal even of a 1.4-ton British bomb. That's a big-ass bomb. Thankfully, in this case, though, all was well. It was a vegetable. Vegetable. I say vegetable for you. It's not till you hear yourself talking you notice these things. Like when I say peas sometimes, like pretty patel. I do that far too much. Pretty patel. I need to say pretty patel. And marrow. Unexploded wartime bombs continue to be found across Germany. These are the most I was about to read an advert there. But yeah, that's pretty much all I've got for today. That was just... every week I'm going to try and find a stupid story like this, because I love a good stupid story. Anything like this is funny, because it warms my heart that even in today's modern climate where everyone knows anything, at the blink of an eye, you've got social networks that'll tell you everything about the world in half a second, that people will still confuse vegetables for bombs. Easy mistake to make. We've all mistaken a tomato for a hand grenade. We've all thought a banana was actually a banana bomb from the game Worms. I wish they were a real thing. Take that, Boris! Banana bomb! Ha ha ha! That is it. And that is all for this week's show. My name is Stevie. Thank you very much for coming in past my virtual studio house type thing and listening to me talk for a while. Remember, favourite it, subscribe it. I don't know, see, you can listen to this on iTunes, iHeartRadio, YouTube, Libsyn, and a few other sources that I can't remember off the top of my head because they're not worth remembering. But if you can subscribe. If you can favourite it. If you can leave a rating, leave a high rating. Simple as that. If you've got any feedback, stories, information for the show, or if you've even got any ideas for the show, or, of course, if you've got a song that you want played on the show, contact me, Stevie. Podcasts at... The address is podcasts@worldoftrash.co.uk. And check out the website, worldoftrash.co.uk. Check the shop. Support the podcast. Help us grow into something bigger and better. And bigger and better and bigger and better. You know, like the old days. So I'll be back next weekend, of course. Either Friday or Saturday. The usual shindig. I believe Mr. Breakcounter, my old co-host from back in the day, he might be back here. And we might be just chatting shit like back in the day. I don't know. But hey, who knows? Between now and then, there's so that much crap happening in the world. There may be a general election on the horizon. You never know. My name's Stevie. You've been listening to World of Trash Podcast. I will see you all later.